Hello, hello, people of the internet. It's Josh coming to everyone with a tarot snapshot for Wednesday, March 22nd. We've just gone through the first day of spring, and I am so excited about it. I can't tell you, I really actually can't tell you the miracles that I've experienced. They have been incredible, and I'm excited to share them eventually with the world. I've had some incredibly good news come my way. Everybody will pretty much know what that is shortly, but I am so excited because it all landed in my lap on the first day of spring, which speaks to the fertility and the regeneration that this season is supposed to represent. And I'm so excited about that. Eventually, I will share it with folks. For today's snapshot, I want to talk about, my beginnings in the way that I loved horror movies. I loved scary stuff as a kid, Stephen King rules, all that. Uh, but I want to talk to you about the idea of the final girl. The final girl is a sort of movie trope, if you will, of the hero or the heroine who makes it to the end of the scary movie and takes out the monster. And we see that in a few different movies. We see that in The Silence of the Lambs with Clarice. We see that in the science fiction series Aliens with Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley. We pretty much see that in non-horror movies as well when the hero, a female, makes it through the end of the movie or the journey of the story, having conquered her obstacles and her challenges. She's the girl that stands at the final hour. And I love that idea. I especially love the horror movie idea of it because I'm a kid of the 80s, kid of the 90s, and when I was a kid, we had Freddy Krueger and we had Jason Voorhees. Jason's the guy with the hockey mask, and Freddy Krueger's the guy with the knife fingers. And I get that a lot of people don't like this stuff, and that's a-okay. I just love the goofiness and the craziness of it. Jason, the guy with the hockey mask, he represents the monsters that are on the outside of us, and Freddy, the dream monster, represents the monsters that are on the inside of us, the ones that we kind of can't run away from. You can get on the other side of a wall and get away from the aliens and the zombies and the monsters, but it's difficult to get away from the monsters that find you in your sleep. So we have to counter and tackle both of them differently. The weather, the forces of nature outside of us, awful people on the outside of us. But the monsters on the inside, our anxieties, our fears, our worries, our griefs, those are also monsters that we have to pay attention to. With that being said, I'm going to dive into the snapshot here, the 3-card reading that I do. And this is all about what vexes and perplexes us, who we are in the moment, and what heals and reveals. So the first card is who we are. The second card is what vexes and perplexes us. And the third and final card is what heals and reveals. Let me get this one more shuffle and we'll get right into it. Okay, and I'm going to cut the deck. And I'm going to show everybody here. Okay. This card right here, this is the card that represents us here in this moment. The ones who have to find our own final girl within us. Okay, so the Five of Wands talks about a certain level of strife, a certain level of difficulty, a certain level of disorganization, and lack of being on the same page as a team. This can represent the people, the parts of the world around us, but it can also represent the inside of us. Think about all the different parts that we're made up of. We have our heart, we have our mind, we have our spirit, we have all the internal bits of us. Those internal bits can be very happy. There's a happy version of us. There's a sad, morose version of us. There's an angry version of us. There's a hurt version of us. And every time we experience this sort of different emotional capacity, well, it's not so much that we have multiple personalities, but we have multiple aspects of ourselves that can feel different parts of our personality to greater or lesser degrees at any given time. So this really talks about, let's talk about this being the monsters on the inside of us. Okay, we got all these different parts of us on the inside. Then this card right here, this is the card that vexes and perplexes us. What to do with our fire. So the Page of Wands is, the beginning part of the wand court cards, the page, knight, queen, king. And this is the element of fire. So what really vexes us is how we handle our fire. Our fire, the drive, the passion, the will, the force within us, is it hurting us? Is it burning us? Or is it warming us and healing us? That's what vexes and perplexes us. A second Wands card. So we had the Five of Wands and the Page of Wands. This card right here represents what heals and reveals. Another Wands card. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. So 3 Wands cards today. Let me get these right. We've got our Five of Wands, we've got our Page of Wands, and we've got our Two of Wands. 5, 1, and 3. This could stand for a 1, if you will, or even an 11. But the strife, how do we manage the fire within us? And then the card that heals and reveals, the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands talks about planning. The traditional card shows a man with a globe on his hands. The traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card shows a man with a globe on his hands, looking up over that globe, planning for his future. Let us think about what that fire does within us. Does it burn us? Does it warm us? And if we can manage that fire, if we can manage it so it doesn't burn us, if we can manage it so it warms us, what sort of future are we welcoming in? What sort of life are we building for ourselves and our loved ones, our family, our friends, our community, and the world at large? But what kind of future are we building? Remember, the seeds that you're planting today are the harvest that you sow and you reap. No, the seeds that you sow today are the harvest that you reap down the road. Let's talk about what sort of future, what sort of harvest you want to reap, and what kind of seeds you want to sow today. So, are you creating a future full of warmth and wonder, or are you creating a future full of charred remains? How you manage that fire within you is really, really vital to your health and well-being. Will you be your own hero, or will you be your own monster? Will you be your own sidekick to this journey through your own story, or will you have to fight the monster that is within you, that is ultimately just part of you? I love the Nightmare on Elm Street series with Freddy and all the teenagers and all the silliness of that. But I think now I understand it better because I love the idea of that monster on the inside. In the very first Nightmare on Elm Street, the one where Nancy beats Freddy at the end, she does so because she stops believing in him. Right as soon as he's about to attack her in the very end, she goes, no more. I don't believe in you anymore. I'm not afraid of you. I take away all your power. And he disappears. That to me is an incredible story about how the power of human belief and how we believe in the stories within us and the ones that we're taught really affect us to a great degree. And we have far more control over those stories than we realize. So, thank you for being here. Happy spring. We are on the other side of the vernal equinox and headed our way to summer, which is excellent and happy. So, I hope that this has inspired you to find your own final girl within you and make sure that you're warming yourself with your own fire instead of burning yourself. Take care. We'll see you around.